Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Today I'm going to present to you guys about the definition of culture. Before that, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Nur Atika binti Johari, and here you can see my metric number, which is 20224999 and 554. I am student of CAAD 111. And before we going to start, let's see list of content. Here you can see list of the content that we're going to see furthermore, which is material culture and non-material culture. What is culture? Culture is defined as a way of life such as religion, value, attitude, experience, and so on that created by the group of people and being shared through generation, which means it was about the oldest generation who is created these things about how we live, how we behave, and how we norms in the life. Next, culture also known as behavior, character, or attitude and opinion of specifically group of people in the particular society at a particular time, which mean it is also known as something that we are doing out of behavior, character, attitude that we showed, and it is being followed by others in the same environment as us. Culture also include material or non-material object that practiced by the group of people. Let's see for the next slide. What is material culture? I'm going to explain more about the material culture. Material culture, as it said, we can see it's about material. When we say it's material, it's physically object or things created by the group of people to define their culture, which mean all of these products of a culture are created to help in define its people's behavior and perception. There are two categories of material culture, which is organic and non-organic. What is what is organic and non-organic? Let's see. Here example, before we go to the example, what is organic? Organic consisting the living plants or animal, which means flora and fauna. Organic also relate to the material contain the chemical elements carbon. Non-organic is consisting substance from the underground. For example is gold or maybe stone, and then we create to something object for the culture. Here we can see the example for organic. Organic, here we can see such as transportation, which is plane, car, and so on. And second, here we can see fashion, furniture, household, and architecture. Let's move to the next example, which is non-organic example. Here we can see jewelry and armor. It was created by something that found underground and shaped by a human to something that has meaning, or maybe they are inspired by the creation that they see a environment close to them. Okay, here another non-material culture. Non-material culture is defined as to the ideas of humans about their culture. The non-physical idea include the belief, moral, rules, language, and norms in that society. Non-material culture is something that cannot be seen with the naked eyes, but we can feel and understand them, which means it was created by the thought of human about something or what the idea they have about what they see and for their understanding. Next, non-material culture also include the belief, moral, rules, language, and norms in that society. Culture will gather the diverse of people to live in harmony in the community. As we can see, the nearest example or the closest example, which is Malaysian, our own country, that has many nations in there, such as Malays, Chinese, and Indians that have a different principle or different belief, which is their own religion, such as Buddhism, Catholic, Islam. But the same out of all is one thing that gather them is they believe in God, but they have a different concept. Second, next, here is attitude and behavior influenced by the culture that we can learn. First, language. Language is something to communicate within the society. It's something that we need among us. When we are staying in the country, in one country, we must know their own language so we can communicate around them. Second, dress. Dress is something culture also, which is to define the meaning of certain nation and value them through generation to another. We can see by the example dress is such as baju kurung, baju batik, baju Melayu, hanbok, sari, cheongsam, and so on. And fourth, we can see religion. Religion is also attitude and behavior influenced by the culture. Religion is the belief that have been taught through the family or generation or school that around us. Move to the next slide. Is about the influencing factors of the great culture. For the opinion of the David Morton Rintel, which is a barefoot writer, he said that culture is created collectively and is influenced externally by the environment, including neighboring cultures and the times in which the culture exists, which means culture exists by the environment itself. If it change, so the culture also will change. Next slide. Here we can see within the past and the present difference. The past, the child mostly spend their time with outdoor activities. Meanwhile, the present child mostly spend their time for the gadget due to development technology. So we can sum up it, the culture itself changed due to the time. Move to the next slide. Here we can see clearly the difference that I'm going to show about non-material culture and material culture. Material culture is something material and can be touched, which means it's object and can be seen by our own eyes. But non-material culture is something can't be touched physically, which means don't have physical existence such as belief and thought. And material culture also can be seen with eyes, like I have said is now. And non-material culture we cannot see with the naked eyes, but we can understood them. And material culture is something man-made, but non-material culture is the ideas and belief system in the community. Here, for the conclusion, to sum up, the culture itself is the way of life that have been practiced from generation to another's, and we continue further as the purpose which is to value the creation in belief and traditional material that have been made by the man. Culture also can be seen as art, since it's been created in a very creative way and thoroughly and contained with the meaning for each of them. As the one of the community in the certain culture, it must be protected by the people and have the desire and responsible to spread them to the new generation coming. By that's the end for my presentation. Before that, here I will show you guys the reference I get for my research, which is mostly I found them by the internet source. And here I got the link if you want to see furthermore. Here's the reference, and just that for me, and thank you for listening for my presentation. Thank you.